Happy day everyone. I'm Ashwini from A&F Shift 2 Department, Assistant Professor of MOP Vaishnav College. Today in this session, I will be covering the fundamental analysis of securities from the subject Security Analysis and Portfolio Management. Today in our session, we will be covering the EIC analysis and a basic charting of investment process and the asset allocation. Today, we will be covering the key points of the fundamental analysis. First one, we have investment process, equity analysis. For a basic investor, when he is investing into equity shares, he has two basic objectives. First one, to earn the capital profit by selling in a higher rate of market price, and the second one is earning the dividend income. So in this part of two stages of investment process, it is allocated as asset allocation and security selection. In terms of asset allocation, the investor will have to utilize all the investmental funds into diversified asset allocation in terms of shares, bonds, and any other investment pattern. The second stage of process is the security selection. In this stage, the investor will have to look into the funds and the stocks that he is investing into based on the sources of information and the required rate and return pattern of that particular company. Next one, we have the approaches to equity analysis. Under equity analysis, we have two different approaches. The first one is active or primary approach, and the second one is passive or secondary approach. Under the active or primary approach, the investor will make sure that he is capable of choosing his own funds, which will give a high growth share in the market. And the second one is passive or secondary approach. Under this approach, usually the investors or the investment analyst will make sure that he is going in the pattern of the market and with the market price. So under that, we have two different approaches, that is the buy and hold approach and index fund approach. Under buy and hold approach, the investor or a part of investment company will have to invest in certain shares and stocks and will be holding for a certain period of time so that he will be avoiding the transaction cost. And the next one is index fund approach. Here index fund is nothing but your mutual fund. So instead of directly applying to the equity shares, you will be applying through mutual fund. So whatever the shares that you have been allotted for the mutual fund will be parallelly and equally to the equity shares. So for example, I as an investor will be investing in Tata mutual funds. So that will be equivalent to investing in equity shares of the Sensex, which will be parallelly proportionate to the mutual funds which is listed in the Sensex. Next, we will be seeing on the fundamental analysis. The major topic of this today's session is the fundamental analysis of securities. So this analysis will make sure the investors to check on the information of investment, whether those particular shares can be bought or not based on the true value or the fair value of the securities. So this concept will deal with the company analysis, industry analysis, economic conditions, and future profit outlook. Under the fundamental analysis, we have a concept called EIC analysis. This slide will be covering the bottom-up and top-down approach. Under the bottom-up approach, the equity shares and the investor will decide on the shares. The investor will be investing in a high growth shares irrespective of the overall economic conditions and the stability of the company. On a broader framework, we have the top-down approach, where we look into the economic conditions, industry position, and the company analysis. Based on that only, the investor will have to invest on the equity shares and expecting a better return and profits. After this, we have the economic analysis. So the investing in shares itself is an economic growth, which will depend on the expected earnings and the futuristic earnings of the company based on the information that is provided by the annual general meetings. So economic conditions also parallelly affects the company's position in deciding what is the price of the shares and what the profit will be there. So any change in the economic aspects or any change in the selling prices will have a direct impact on the corporate profits and the investment decisions of the company. So here are certain factors which affects the investment decisions for both the investors and the company. So we have agriculture, GDP, savings and interest, inflation, rate of interest, research and technical developments, infrastructural facilities, and political stability. These are the factors which usually affects the investment pattern and the investment decision of the investment analyst also. Every investor or those people who want to earn more of capital profits will definitely invest in the equity share market. So there might be questions in every investor's mind. Are the risk levels of various industries different? Does the risk level of a particular industry vary or remain constant? Does the return from various industries differ over a specific period of time? Would an industry continue to perform well in future? Would the performance of the firm and industry be constant over the time? So if you know these answers with the expectations of information that is available with the financial resources and what is the company inputs, you can confidently move into the company for the equity share investment. Next is the industrial analysis. Before we could move into the industrial analysis, let's understand what is the basic meaning of industry. Here, industry is a homogeneous group of products or services who are competing in the same line of market. So under this, for the purpose of the EIC analysis, we have classified into agro-based, mineral-based, automobile and information technology. So if you're looking for investments in any of these industry sector, you need to look into the classification of industry and then invest into the equity shares. In this slide, we have the life cycle of industry, which is divided into 3 sectors: pioneering stage, expansion stage and stagnation stage. So this graph is a general graph which is used for every sector of understanding. So here we have new, growing, stagnant and contracting. So when a company is coming into picture as an economic market or when he wants to come into the stock market, we have to face his introductory stage, growing stage and what is the current stage right now. So based on the current position in the market, we will be able to analyze and value his equity shares, which is contracting to the market price present in the market. Next, we have the key factors in the industrial analysis. Even before the company goes into listing of the security market, he also have to make sure a lot of analysis and evaluation is done for the company. So here are the key factors that the industry has to analyze for himself and for the outer market also. So we have past performance of the industry, roles of the government in industry, industrial life cycle, technological of the industry, competitive conditions, performance of the product and labor conditions. All are interdependent to each other. If you lose one factor also, it will have a direct effect on the corporate profits and the investment decisions. In this slide, we will be looking into the concept of intrinsic value, which is the third part of EIC analysis, that is the company analysis. Company analysis is one of the important factor and considered to be one of the important objective in order to make any kind of investment decisions or to invest the funds also. So in this case, if you look into the intrinsic value, this is a value which will be considered to analyze what is the fair value or the market value of that particular company share. So when you're looking into the intrinsic value, we'll have to consider the financial health, company operations, business environment and revenue growth potential. Under this intrinsic value topic, let's cover the financial health. So if an investor or the company has to analyze its value for its own, he has to look into the return on equity, EBT, PBT, DPS, EPS values here. So on the company operations, business environment and revenue growth potential, everything will depend on the growth factor and the corporate profits that is being earned. So all the topics which is mentioned under the intrinsic value is interdependent to each other. Next is the company analysis. So when a person is making an analysis of the company, be it a person who is from a background of finance background or from a non-finance background, he will definitely understand what is happening in the company if he looks into the major part of this activity level. So first thing is financial statements. Whether you know the concept of asset or liabilities, based on the numbers, he will definitely know how to analyze the company's position, whether it is going on a profitable way or a non-profitable way. Activity level. If it's based on the production level, he'll have to analyze whether what is the production level that is going on, what is the current orders and what is the expected production capacity that the company can take up. It means that the stock of inventory is also analyzed here. Next, if you look into the profitability, return on equity, intrinsic value and the expected earnings, all these are interrelated to each other based on the income and expenses of the company. The next concept under company analysis is profitability. So if you want to know what is the expected earnings and what is the return on equity and the intrinsic value, we need to know what is the profitability of the company. So if you look into the financial position, you have to analyze at least 5 to 6 years of the financial data in order to analyze what is the exact profit margin for the company. So with this, I conclude the part of company analysis here. In today's session, we covered the fundamental analysis of securities, which dealt with the asset allocation, security selection, equity analysis and the EIC analysis. Today's researchers and investment analysts will make sure they have an inclination on the financial positions to make sure that they are investing right shares to earn a right profit at a futuristic date. To conclude today's session, let's take a visualization of the thought process of the fundamental analysis.
Fundamental analysis is the process of examining a company's financial statements to help decide if its stock is a good investment. Financial statements include balance sheets, income statements, and cash flow statements. This information helps determine the financial makeup of the company behind the stock. In this video, we'll explain how fundamental analysis uses these statements to help evaluate a company. Let's start with a balance sheet. This document compares the company's current assets to its liabilities and owner's equity. Let's define these terms. First, we have assets, which are items the company owns. Assets are usually comprised of cash, equipment, and property. Next are liabilities. Liabilities are usually debts or accounts that need to be paid. Often, a liability on the balance sheet has an offsetting asset that helps the numbers stay level. For example, if a company were to take a loan out to buy a property, the loan would be a liability and the property would be an asset. The third term of a balance sheet is capital, or owner's equity, which is the amount of assets raised by issuing stock. For example, when a company issues stock either in its initial public offering or in a secondary offering, it raises money or capital that can be used to fund various business expenses. Balance is achieved when the value of the assets are equal to liabilities and owner's equity. The balance sheet helps you see how a company raises money for its assets and can help you determine if the company is overextended. However, if you want to know how the company earns money, you'd look at its income statement. An income statement shows a company's revenues and expenses. These are the costs associated with running the business, including operations, interest paid on loans, and taxes. When you take revenues and subtract expenses, you get net income. Net income is the earnings of a company. Earnings are usually handled in two ways. The first way is to share the earnings with shareholders by paying a dividend. The second way is to reinvest these earnings into the company. Reinvesting earnings can help a company's cash position. A company with a good cash position is usually better prepared to endure economic ups and downs. This is why some investors say cash is king. It's also why the cash flow statement is an important item to consider. This statement shows how the company uses its cash to operate the business and make investments. It also shows how much is borrowed from a bank or bondholder. These figures are totaled to show changes in the company's overall cash position. This statement is important because it gives a more detailed account of how the business generates revenue and is therefore much more difficult to manipulate than an income statement. As you can see, there is a lot of information in the three financial statements. With all of these facts and figures, analysis can be a little tricky. This is why some investors may use ratios. There are several ratios that can help an investor compare stocks, but we'll focus on one of the most common, the price to earnings, or PE ratio. Let's say you have one stock that's trading at $6 a share, another at $35 a share, and a third at $132 a share. How would you know which one is the best value? Some might assume the $6 stock is the best value because it's the cheapest. However, this might not be the case, because a company's value may depend largely on the company's earnings. The PE ratio allows you to look beyond the price of a stock to see which company could be the best value. To create this ratio, first divide the net income, or earnings, by the number of outstanding shares. This number is called earnings per share, or EPS. Next, divide the price of the stock by the EPS to get the PE ratio. The first company is trading at $6 and has an EPS of 20 cents. Resulting in a PE of 30. The second company is trading at $35 a share and has an EPS of $1.40 for a PE of 25. The final company is trading at $132 per share and has an EPS of $3.90 for a PE of 34. Now you can better compare each company by its PE ratio. Despite the drastic difference in stock prices, all three companies have a similar valuation. However, the second company has the lowest PE ratio and may be the best value. Remember, a PE ratio is only one of several ratios that can be used. There are other ratios for determining valuation, profitability, and financial strength. There are also other figures to examine in financial statements. We've only scratched the surface of fundamental analysis in this video. It's important that you learn more before using this analysis to make a trade.
Thank you.